Put it out there. We run more people out of our church.
Mm-hmm. Is the mic muted?
I think so. Audio input capture says off. It got an X on it.
Yeah.
It's the top one.
No, it's the second one.
What's up? Okay, it's not reading.
There's two ways to do it, either that way or just push the button and it starts flashing.
Okay.
Yeah, we do. We got a lot of folk have a lot to answer. And the excuse is, well, they shouldn't be looking at people. Well, they just got here. They're looking at you as examples. They haven't established any type of faith or relationship with God. They're just here because His Holy Spirit impressed them to come.
And come, and then you run them away.
And then you run them away.
Yeah, I keep thinking of when David brought the ark in. Remember when they recovered the ark and they brought it back, and it was, I'm gonna just say it like they was having a good time walking down to the temple.
Yes. And his wife jumped on his case. He divorced her. I mean, he danced so hard, he danced right out of his clothes.
Yeah, that's what I said. We're gonna have
Yep.
a whole get to find out a lot of stuff we thought may not be true.
Nope, the whole thing has to do with, if you are focused on your spiritual growth with God, you don't have time to worry about what someone else is doing, how someone else is living. God will deal with them. You need to be about your own spiritual relationship. And Amos says that what is required of you: love justice, show mercy, and walk humbly with God. That's the crux of the gospel.
One of my best friends, when he was here in church, we came in about almost about the same time. I came in first, and he came in. Remember Rod? He came in behind me, and we became real good friends, almost like we're brothers. And when he first got to the church, I would go over to his house. He would still be playing his music. And I never said anything. You tell him you shouldn't do this. This is what I never said anything. And so finally he stopped looking. He said, "Great, how come you never said anything by telling me I should?" I said, "That's not my job."
Yeah.
I said, "That's between you and the Holy Spirit."
That's right.
I said, when the Holy Spirit was ready to tell you, He would tell you.
Yeah, when he felt that you was ready to accept that. I'll never forget the day I had just came off of active duty initially and was down in Lawview and getting ready to go to Andrews. And my dad had put a swimming pool in. And
I'm gonna have to find out where you live when I go home. Where you used
we
to
lived
live
on Imperial. No, that was Massachusetts. We lived 2 blocks from Pine Tree High School.
Okay, so you was up north.
Yeah, we were
You
north.
were north.
Yeah,
Because
we
I
were
was
north.
on the south end.
Yeah,
Okay.
we were north.
Okay.
Get on 281.
The loop.
Yeah, and there was a Walmart there at the corner of 281 and the main road that went up to where we lived. What was the name of that street? I'll think of it tonight around 2 in the morning.
Okay.
So anyway, he had put the swimming pool in. It was a nice in-ground swimming pool. And let's see, that was 1980, so I was 22. My brothers were 20 and 17. And invited some young ladies over to swim, was having a good time. School was lighted at night, diving off the diving board and whatnot. So we were attending the church in Tyler. And my mom was up for Sabbath school superintendent. And one old crusty saint got up and said, "I don't think she's a good example." Now, my mom was teaching school for the Texas Conference, was at the church school there. And she went on because she and her husband let their boys swim at night with girls in the pool. My mom, I've never seen her so mad. She stood up and she said, every one of my sons are in the church. Where are your children? And then sat back down.
Well,
I mean, I could not. Oh, and it was one of they swim with girls at night and they listen to loud music. Yeah, we listen to Dinah Ross and the Supremes. We listen to Earth, Wind and Fire. We listen to Minnie Riperton. We listen to it was that type of stuff.
right. Mm-hmm. I'm surprised your mom didn't go completely off.
Help me, Holy Ghost. That's because the Lord grabbed hold of her tongue.
I know.
And then when I was working for the Department of Corrections in Florida, just outside Panama City, we were attending the Panama City Church. And they asked me to be Sabbath school superintendent. And that was in October. So in December, for the 4 Sabbaths, and it was actually 4 Sabbaths before Christmas, I brought in an Advent wreath. Because I had used one in the Army and I had used one in corrections. I knew how to use it and what it represented and symbolized. So I brought an Advent wreath in. And I had an Advent outline for each Sabbath, where you would light the candle and you read a text about the coming Messiah, and we would sing an Advent hymn.
Mm-hmm.
Because our hymnal has Christmas carols and it has Advent hymns, and we would sing an Advent hymn. Yeah, I got so much grief for that. I told them, I said, you can consider my resignation effective the 1st of January. So I ain't got time for this.
Yeah, this is why, besides a lot of our younger people leaving,
Mm-hmm.
they would come in, and lo and behold, someone would say something or start trying to tell them what they should and should not. Instead of just allowing them, instead of just being there when they needed them,
Mm-hmm.
just allowing them to the Holy Spirit do His job, basically. It,
You know, we too busy trying to strip the leaves off the trees, and then the tree dies. And talk about, well, you know, they didn't have a relationship. You know, you never gave them a chance to have a relationship.
no.
You know, don't.
Yeah, and another thing about when you're here and you have trouble in the church and you're going through stuff and you try to reach out to people, sometimes you have to be careful who you reach out to.
Yeah, not everybody needs to know everything. Some people you just need to avoid.
Yep.
There were some people, when I was growing up, there were some folk who were just in the way. Instead of being in the way, they were in the way. And it's amazing. And, you know, I look at pictures. There's a picture of now we were a little small country church in the middle of nowhere. That was actually on the grounds of the conference campsite, but the conference people weren't there. It was just the caretaker and some buildings, and the church was there. But there were a lot of Adventists who lived in that area, and there were buku kids. Now, not all of them went to the church school, but about 30 of us did.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at these pictures, and every one of them is still in the church. Some wandered around a little bit, but they're all in the fold.
Mm-hmm.
And even in spite of a few members who were more busybody than believers, they managed to stay. And that was because there was a good semblance of people who allowed the youth to be the youth. Okay. Let me call up this phone number here.
When I was, after I left home, I would go back and visit. You know, Sabbath, there was this little bitty church I would always go to. And it was smaller than this. But what I always remembered was about the church. I loved going there because they would remember me. Maybe a year before they see me again.
Mm-hmm.
But I would walk in, they would remember me, you know, just like I was home.
After the tone, please record your name to be announced to other callers in the call. Then press the pound sign to enter the conference.
And they eventually built them a newer church, and it was nice. But I always went. They always remember me when I came in. You know, it'd be like over a year before they had seen me.
Mm-hmm.
But that was one of the most nice and welcoming church I've ever been to.
Are we streaming?
Yes.
Okay, where's it? Facebook ain't streaming. Okay, I got to reboot Facebook through the restream because it's not on.
Okay. I'm going to start the timer here in a minute.
Well, we're not streaming.
Huh? Thought we were, because I started it.
Okay, hit stop. It was streaming this morning when I checked it out when I got here.
Let me see. What's Sister Allison?
Running late. Should be here.
You didn't see her?